Well, I can't figure out, I guess it's because they came up with that rule about you can't block anybody below the in the knee area there. They're not wearing football pants, they're wearing knickers. Yeah. I mean, the knees is out there just exposed. Yeah. They got them up there, and the rule book specifically says the knee must be. But hey,
that's what I need. This was those are those heavy. Oh, no, those heavy. The biggest. November is kind of running behind. Check on the radar to see what we're gonna do around it. Everything right now is skirting north of it. Just going through the north end of the county. They had some freeze down and stuff over in Clark County, Monroeville, Thomasville.
I'm doing
So
pretty
far, so
good.
good here.
Get ready to start a council meeting.
yeah. That ain't true. Not unless you know something. Nah, we still got.
Well, you see, there was one that was here. City Hall. We have gone and done something. Because I think that plane out there was wired. But I'm waiting. I said, I just paid. I've double checked. I say it's 20 something, but I got one. It may have been another 20 for this people. Makes a lot of third party design to get the license and all that. I'll talk to Brian about that. I'll talk to him about this and then the other.
We have one that's. Yeah, there is the insurance. My daughter gets insurance. I know, so you're all here, and it gets into something all the time. It is paid in. I mean, it's not the emergency bit. $2,000 minimum. They got into sales home, and that's very important. I need to drink some alcohol one time. What else? Then my 3 times I had to go to the emergency. We had one. They took us to the moment. And gave them 800, and they said they the chance of my buying was less than 50%, and they'd get at least $1,200. I'm not drawing back. For a year, they get injection instead of taking out for a year.
Time is 4 o'clock, so we'll go ahead and we'll begin our work session. One of the first items on here is the Pearls and Diamond Community House.
And they had actually gone through and requested, the date, and that was, what was the date, President Diamonds? It's not February February 18th. Yeah, I know that's what we would, continue that item over until they gave us a specific date on it. And, they were asking for the, transfer of the deposit be moved, for that date. And this would be the last opportunity. And after this,
Well, see, it was already moved and then they didn't give us a date for it, so in turn we lost the 250 deposit that they put down. Well, she's saying that they shouldn't have lost it because posted on the internet on that calendar, it was still posted on there, but the only way to know if the date is available is they call and ask us, because sometimes we open the dates, which we open that date. And so she's saying that per the calendar on the internet, they shouldn't have to lose their deposit. And if the council says that they don't use the deposit, then they're gonna move it to the date that they already paid for February 18th.
okay. That's what she's asking for, to move it to the date for February 18th, not having to pay the 250 again.
So
Since
we
she's
have
already paid 250.
because we'll have to refund February 18th, 250 that she just paid, if y'all agree to that.
Okay.
Is it February 18th of this year?
Yes, sir.
This year?
Okay. All right, and the next item that we had on discussion was the Alabama Power additional light. And I'm thinking, hopefully, Michael, you and Trip have opportunity to discuss what needs to be done on that, so.
Well, yes, and that, he's gonna explain a couple things about it.
I hope I can explain it.
Nah, you can't.
So it's my understanding that there's two lights that the council is requesting to come down, one on Agricultural Drive and one on at the intersection of Hornet Drive. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right, those two lights can be removed, but the council and the city signed a 3-year contract on those lights. There was an additional light that Alabama Power missed through the conversion. The city is currently not being billed for that light, and it was not converted to an LED. We can take one of those two lights that we do away with and move that light out on the 21 bypass.
I'll go on with that. But now, when you told us in here, you said we may be able to remove some lights because it may be too much light or some may be too close. And I took it as added at any time, not in the 3 years. You did say that.
Okay, so
But now, I'll go along with that. One on Agriculture Drive does not, it's not used, it's not anything. Here's an Alabama Southern's got a, or whatever it's called now, Coastal Community College. It's shining on top of it, and I go down there and it is never on.
right.
So that one can definitely be, the one on Horny, I think is useless, but we can wait 3 years on it until we do that.
Well, so the one on Hornady is a different, and I don't have off the top of my head right now. But I think it's not a 35 watt like most of those street lights are. It's a different wattage. And then we'll have to on 21 do a photometric study to determine what light needs to be put there in place of what's currently there. But I did talk to Christy Silvernagle, who's our lighting specialist, and those lights, that light can be moved, so we can remove one of them off the pole and move it out there. As far as billing goes, we're not adding a light.
It'll stay the same.
That's right. And then on Agriculture Drive, if there is another area, and I don't want to speak out of my realm, but what she told me is we could do to try to make things right and everybody happy is if there is a dimmer lit area on Agriculture Drive or another area that needs to be lit, if we need to move that particular street light to another area, we could. That way there's a beneficial use.
You got gates with floodlights there, they've got a several there, there's not, there's not anything else, even activity, but they shine that one for that parking lot.
Right.
And I don't see where anything else, it's pretty bright all down through there. Then you got one right up the street at the ag center there, so. Anyway.
That's
on down past Gate Pre-K.
Yeah.
And we can get that moved. She's gonna come up here, actually, or have Kyle, our engineer, come up here and get those swapped around and moved, so. We probably will, she said, still have to have the additional contract signed saying that the city is in agreement with us adding that light, but what we will do is show proof to Ms. Hunt of the adjustment on the billing where you're not billed for the additional light, if that makes sense. But to note the contract and our map accurately, we'll have to make some kind of note of where we removed the light and where we had the light.
And there's some on South Alabama Avenue that needs to be looked at some point in time. That's why I was, it's your statement saying that when you said that in there, we may be able to remove some because there may be too much lighting when you ragging on how good these lights are, which they are good. But there's several in that area there, every pole now, I know you're on both sides of the road, so there could be some there, but the two definitely are the two that I'm talking about.
We'll address those and then any other ones that you want us to look at, I can get with Mike.
And we look at them in 3 years, I guess, because we can't change that now, by what you said.
Well, from what I understand with the contract is. I mean, the contract is the city will be billed for X number of lights for 3 years. Now, whether we need to move them, if there's too much light in an area or not enough light, trying to make it sufficient lighting for public safety, we can look at doing that.
Okay. Any other comments, concerns concerning lights? Okay. There being none, the one thing that I overlooked at the last council meeting was the appointment of the city council member to the planning commission. Councilman Focal agreed to serve in that role, so.
Did I agree to that?
Yeah.
I don't think I remember agreeing to that.
We all stood up in line and asked for volunteers.
Now, I talked out, I will commit to a year. And that is, now we'll go from there. But my understanding is. You retired, you don't have anything else. Well, you got a lot of room to talk.
It's a secret.
I still have 3 jobs, you only have 1. Dude, you like me, your wife.
Yeah. The other item come up, we already had the first read on ordinance 2023-001 and ordinance 2023-01002. And those will come up during the council meeting. The next item on the agenda will be where we had a new hire, Mr. Michael Norton Jr. as a custodian at $10.26 an hour for the community house.
I
We
thought,
had a gentleman hired and we approved him and then he turned the job down.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah, that was who Mr. Lett.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we approved him. We went through the whole process with him. Then he turned the job down.
This guy's out of Beatrice, right? The new guy.
Mr. Norton.
Is he out of Beatrice?
He had to be anxious.
He lives here.
Oh, he does.
He lives here. Then we have an agreement between the city and Mr. Bobby Jones for the debris disposal site for erosion control. The city had the agreement with him when he owned the trailer park there. And he has since sold it. And there was some concern about the amount of traffic and everything that was going through. And so in talking with Mr. Jones, he had another site that basically has a gully in it that he has agreed to allow the city to use to dispose of tree limbs and foliage and leaves and stuff of that nature. So we do have another new agreement to sign that for erosion control. And then we have the issue about the community house closed holidays. Ms. Hunt, if you will.
So the only days that we have blacked out on the calendar is Thanksgiving and Christmas. There was a question came up as to whether or not we can black out the dates that the city has made, like for holidays with the city. in those days be closed too.
There's,
It's usually when events are going.
that's when people want to do things. I mean, that's the Thanksgiving one I feel more comfortable with than the Christmas one even, but, we presently don't have any corporate ones that are pushing to have that date, but sometimes they've had issues with that, but I don't think we need to go no further than those two dates.
It's Christmas Day and Thanksgiving Day. Is
Yeah,
that,
those are the ones that's blacked out. They can't book those dates. So,
It's like, it can be booked on Christmas Eve, right?
Christmas Eve, but not Christmas Day.
Right,
Mhm.
okay.
Same thing for Thanksgiving.
And it can be booked New Year's Eve and New Year's Day.
Mhm.
Okay.
I think.
But not Christmas and Thanksgiving
Right,
Day.
not Christmas.
Some go along, Ken.
All right, I think that goes back there, answered that question. Well, that's pretty much all I'll go through in that, half of the work session at, this point.
I had another one. This is all concerning the community house too. The wording for the community house for the entertainment part that y'all was talking about, y'all think y'all want to postpone it to this meeting? Have y'all came up with it or?
well, I think just like. And on the one here, I think the entertainment part. Maybe needs to be defined a little bit. I mean, just like the church group, that all they wanted to do was play background music, Christmas music, while they were having their get together. I mean, and I don't think it's any need for them folks like that to have security out there. We have a city representative there for that. And, they ought to know what the rules are. And if they go beyond that, then I think they should, have to, they call the police, shut it down or whatever. But on the sheet, like a banquet without a dance, they don't have to have security. Wedding reception without dance, no security. And I think we just need a family reunion without security. I think we just need to use a little common sense. You got church members out there having a get together and they want to play church music. They're not going to be dancing. They're not going to be drinking.
Now, family reunions, now it's hard to pull that one out of there, because there's something that's where you get fights out there.
Well, that's what some of their family reunion without dance, you don't have security. According to she.
Yeah, I understand it, but that's one we had problems with several years ago. Was family reunion,
That was
it
kind
was a
of,
BYOB and they had on top of it.
You got a little too much of the BY.
Yeah.
now, BYOB, do they have to have security?
Yeah, they still have to have security for that.
The thing is they're gonna tell you that when they sign up.
I think on
They have
BYOB, you don't have to have the special event license.
Yeah. Mhm.
But the person, Janie or whoever's there, if they know what the rules are for that particular event, then, if they're not going by them, and they call the police and shut it down.
Melvin, most of the family reunions don't have BYOB.
But I mean, I'm just making an example that we did have problems every year with one of the issues of family reunion.
Oh, we did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
But
so,
I'm saying, it sounds good, but there's always a exception to the rule, unfortunately.
so when, what we're talking about, if they're playing music and no dancing, no need of security. That's what I understood you saying.
Right, basically.
If they're using it as background music only, not as entertainment necessarily, besides that, then I would.
Background, that would be the way. It's background, they're using it as background music, like for a baby shower, or if they're having a 2-year-old's birthday party, or like a church group. Yeah, if they're using it only as background music.
Okay.
That would be my
So-
suggestion.
How do we? I guess. Insert that language in there, would that clarify? Cause y'all are the ones that have to answer the question. So that will that clarify if we,
For that particular event, yeah.
okay, for those type of events? Okay,
But you're gonna leave the same thing, right?
That's the only one I had a issue with.
okay, and then I think the other issue came up, about how to accept payment.
Yes. Y'all never voted for the, business check from local businesses, because it was included in the same motion.
Well, according to the rules and regulations, it says, number 14, tables, chairs must be properly put away following the event. A check will be mailed to the address of the renter by the city clerk. So,
Yeah, that's for us, if they get a refund on deposit, we send them a check.
right,
But if they come, in, we have in there that, for them to make their payments to us, either cash or cashier's check. And we send them a
Security.
check.
okay, the security refund may be applied. But now, the way this reads to me is we're saying the security.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We send that back to them a check, but when they come in to rent as it is, we only accept, cash or cashier's check. And then that question came up, this one where, we came through to say, well, if it's a local business. Check.
Right,
if we
but I
accept
thought we were saying that a deposit, if they brought cash in, we held that cash. And then if there were no issues, we gave them that same cash back. Is that not right?
For the security deposit, yes.
Okay.
And so we'll take cash or a cashier's check for the security deposit, because we give it back the same way.
But so what's this check will be mailed? What's that for? That's the only money they get back is
So
a security
if-
deposit, so
If
it's
it
got,
comes-
this is the check.
if it comes to the council, like the last time it came to the council for the 30 person that needed the refund, we had to check back to her.
Well, see, I think the last question I had that came up, that, was confusing, and the question was asked me, why didn't we check out the local business? And I think this was when they came in to pay the other $250 or whatever it was.
Yeah, that wasn't their security deposit, it was just,
Right, that was for the rental. And see, in the thing, I think on the front, it says for the rental, we accept, cash or cashier's check.
So what's this check that we're gonna mail back to?
I guess that's when we were talking about that incident, when we were talking about sending them a refund. That would have been the refund on the, for the rental.
Well, this says a check will be mailed to the address of the renter by the city clerk. If not properly cleaned, the $25 hour rate will be deducted from the damage deposit.
Let me see if I can.
14. We just don't need to be leaving cash laying around, that's bottom line. We don't really need to be taking cash. Yeah. Bottom line.
It's additional issue, but it's like how many other checks we write, it's an in and an out. The journal entry, I mean, if we take a check, we can write them a check back.
I'm surprised that the auditors haven't
Said
said
something.
something, okay? Are they coming to go over there and audit?
I just got an email from them today asking about a phone call, next Tuesday. Then I go back to that. See if they're what you're talking about. Like, right here it says cashier's check or cash.
Right.
And then right here, that looks like wrong thing. it says check, cash, or credit card. So I guess it's on the rental deposit, was specific about cashier's check, that's correct. But on the rental, they take business check or,
Business check whenever y'all vote, that's what you was talking about. For the
Okay.
business check first.
see right here on the rental fee, it says check, cash, or credit card.
Mhm.
So what kind of check?
We do, okay, so the cashier's check and the cash is specifically for the security deposit.
Right.
Because after the event, they will come in.
Right.
And pick it up, and that prevents us from having to wait till Wednesday to cut the check or go to the bank and pull money to give back to them.
Now, on the rental fee, it doesn't say specify cashier's check, it's just on the rental fee, it says check, cash, or credit card.
Mhm.
So is that a cashier's check also, or,
No, that's not a cashier's check.
okay,
We only do cashier's check for just the security deposit.
okay.
Have we had issues with people giving us bad checks in the past, or why
Not
why
that
can't
I'm
we
aware of.
accept checks for the security deposit as well?
Yeah, but they don't want you, first, most people would not want you holding that check for that long.
Mhm.
You know, they want to go and clear it out of their account one way, I would think.
It just seems inconvenient, had to go to the bank, get a cashier's check, and then you gotta go cancel the cashier's check.
Yeah. I mean, I still,
Mhm.
give me a read between the aggravation part of it. Why do we not just take it and turn around and write a check back?
This was done before I got here.
Yeah, I mean, it's an entry in, the entry out. That way you can keep whatever portion of it that you pay them back for any damages or anything else. Or if you're holding a cashier's check on, how do you take that part out and give the part back? You gotta cash it there and then turn around and give them the money back.
So what we've been doing, is we take that money, we put it in the vault, we lock it up, and the same way, whatever they give us. When they come back, if they're security, well, if they say that the community house is in good standing, and they said that we can give it back, then we give them the same money or cash the check that they gave us.
But I asked that question.
I think what you're saying is, all right, they give us a cashier's
Yes.
check, so they've already bought the check.
Yeah.
And they got the money.
Yeah.
So if we just give them the cashier's check back,
If there's no damages or anything.
right,
But if there is, then how do you handle that? Do you go cash the cashier's check and give them a portion in cash back to make the difference?
If they can't give the deposit back, then we deposit the cashier's check.
But what if they do just part of it? If it's not.
I've
all-
never had a partial.
Okay, that's the answer there.
Mhm.
But the fact of holding somebody's personal check for a year as a deposit,
I guess that's why they don't take a personal check for,
yeah,
you know, for the rental part. Now,
Yeah.
they, according to what I read on that, it says that they can take a personal
Yeah,
check for the rental.
years ago, before I was in council, we've done that, so I
Right.
know that,
So I think the question came about, for the security deposit.
yeah. Okay.
Now, on the security deposit, the question is, I think that there was it was a business
Mhm.
that came in to do the security deposit, and we told them that we would take a cashier's check or cash. And the question came up is, why couldn't we take a local business check for a security deposit?
Yeah.
So I think that's what that's what the question
Yeah.
is, you know, if y'all want to leave it like it is, you know,
Why do y'all hold them and not just deposit them, and then if there's a refund?
That's what I'm saying, I know it's an additional aggravation at some point, but it's the journal entry in and the journal entry out.
Yeah.
And how many times a year, is it 20 to 30 times it's possible, I don't know if it's more than that or what opportunities does that even happen? Yeah, that's,
So I'll leave that decision up to y'all, because it's just the way it's wrote in there.
yeah,
But if y'all
I'm not,
want to change it, then.
not already in that, but I think it's bookkeeping wise, it should pay a deposit and write a student check back with return.
And I'll be honest with you, I would rather take a personal check on a deposit than on a rent. But because the
Okay.
deposit is the time.
It's gonna clear,
the
you'll
time
know. if
frame,
it's good
you know,
or
it's
not.
gonna clear, way before the date that they have. But according to this right here, I think this is saying. A check would be mailed to the address of the rent, and that's the only reason you would mail them a check back is if it was their deposit. You're not gonna mail them over rent. Maybe split hairs, I don't know.
Okay, so. Do y'all have a recommendation? Since y'all have people do this.
Still, back to the really quick with that. I mean, it can be done either way. It can be done like with another thing, or we can continue to do it this way. It just prevents them from the day after, when they come in to pick up their deposit, they have to wait until we cut a check for Wednesday. And I know the majority of them actually do come back in to get their money back.
The next day.
Yeah. So, and they'll just have to wait.
Well, if they're told that again.
Yeah, it's so, how many days you talking about, the days?
We cut checks every Wednesday,
I tell them.
Thursday.
And you could even say 7 days, and that way you fall within the, you have 7 days after event, and you can time definitely get covered.
Okay, so. That's just. We don't really have to change the rules, that's just a policy y'all can do.
No, the security deposit is your cash and share the cash on them,
But
but what they're saying.
Okay,
eliminate the cash part of it,
Yeah.
what we're trying to do, and also even the cashier check. My question was, is if there's a part, if there's a fee that's not as great as the cashier check security deposit that we hold, how do you handle that going back?
and so, well,
This unfortunately, this simple thing is very complicated.
I'm just thinking, if you go back down to the point, yeah, I don't know, I'm just talking off the cuff now. Took all of it, deposited in the bank, and then you turn around and you issue them a check back.
Yeah.
And let them know that that check would be issued on that Wednesday.
Except for the little additional aggravation in some parts of it, that is the simplest way to do it, business wise. You take the money in, deposit it, and then you cut the check back, the check that needs to be given back. But in both,
Is that doable?
It's doable.
I mean, I don't want to cause any extreme hardship, and if you got a reason to go do it different, then that's, I'm very understanding of that, but it seems more complicated than it needs to be.
That's just the way it's been doing.
Okay, I'm not arguing that point, because that doesn't mean everything is the best way or the simplest way.
So,
Somebody else speak up. They would sound crazy or hit it or really wanted to do.
really, I guess what it boils down to, is we would change our procedure and then people would just be notified. That your refund would be due, will come when we cut checks on Wednesday, or whenever.
I can say within 7 days.
Right.
I would say that way. if
Within
something
7
come
days.
up,
Okay,
you don't have them beating on your door saying you can pick it up on Wednesday, or pick it up on
Okay.
Thursday.
okay,
Get a holiday in there or something like that.
okay.
Are you good, man?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's extra money for our customers too. Besides the.
Yeah.
the we already sent out.
That's extra work.
Money if you mail it, I think most people probably come pick it up. Just like on the other, they still come pick it up. Won't make it now in mail, it may take 2 weeks to get it.
And
Yeah,
some
yeah,
people
yeah.
don't live locally either. Just keep that in mind. Some people don't live local. They come to get their deposit back the next day. So. I said some people don't live local, that rent that community.
Yeah.
out, And they come in and they say to get their money. So,
But if our policy is gonna be that, and they know it once from now on, if they know that event, and they can tell you to mail it, and those you'll mail it.
Are most weekends rented out for this year, you think, just a guesstimate?
I believe so, because she started looking for 2023 and 2022. Mhm.
So I guess we have agreement that we just deposit it and then send them a check back or and refund it they're due.
At what time we gonna start doing this?
Are we implementing it as soon as y'all motion for it?
I mean, we can, but is that gonna cause the issue if people think it's gonna be done different? Immediately.
Let's see, when we start doing it, I don't know what bookings you may already have for February. But we start doing it in March.
Right. Okay, but, so are we gonna, just let the ones that's already booked their March, tell them?
Well, they'll be paying security deposit either way.
They've already, a lot of them already paid it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, like,
If you can
Do the year.
you've already paid the security
Yeah.
deposit.
all through the year of 2023, some of them have already been paid this different stuff.
Wait, hold on, make sure.
They're not required to pay until like the week before.
Yeah, but some of them already will pay it. When they come in and do it,
The rental fee,
they have to run it.
is they pay half the rental fee, right? Okay, when they pay that, when do they pay the security deposit at the same time?
No, the
The
security
security
deposit.
deposit do a week before.
Yeah, the security deposit and the rest of that rental fee is due a week before that event.
But some pay it all.
Well, I don't see,
So it's just a matter of actually when y'all want to start, because it's not gonna matter, because we'll still have to let people know whenever y'all start, whether it's February or March. Anybody that come after that.
yeah, I think might as well start in March. That's what y'all think.
And anybody that's rented past that point, we could send them a letter to explain policy change.
All right. Well, that's pretty much everything that I got on the, of the work session, Councilman Fulton. Anything?
If our lights are fine.
Sir?
I said the lights are fine.
Oh, I did, I do want, I guess just for the record, not, and then you can talk after this. The master contract was signed in May of 21. I didn't know. That master contract was worth by Sam Shop. I didn't know that until January 6th.
But you did make that statement when you were in here. I remember when you were here the first time you were in here talking about it, you said you may be able to do away with some of these lights. They're gonna be so good. That came from you.
Okay.
And I didn't understand quite the other, but that's fine.
We're gonna.
But if you do that, I'll be happy enough with that for right now.
Councilman Hines?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Mrs. Finkler, the young lady that came and spoke to us at the last council meeting about her mail, she's still having issues. So I'd like to try to set up a public hearing for her, see if she can get a petition and other people in the community to, come and talk about that street. Cause there's not that much traffic on there. The park is hardly being utilized.
That's right.
So I don't think it's fair to her and the rest of the people in the community to suffer. So I'd like to see if we can make that happen.
Yeah, I like the discussion about what we discussed.
Right, I know.
The new one, Jason. Did take that. Let's see here. See the one we want to prove as. Okay, it's in the new one, she's gonna have it.
If we reverse the traffic, would that fix the problem or not?
Yeah,
Yeah,
because she never had a problem getting her mail until they put the
No, I
one
mean,
way. Yeah.
still leave it one way, but turn it the other way.
I don't know if that,
They were saying, the way I was understanding, they were saying, her complaint was. And according to her, some others that, not even make it one way.
leave
yeah.
it back the way it was.
Put it back like it was.
Cause they say, the park usage. Is, don't have that much traffic going in there anyway.
So the children not even playing in the park. They're not even using the park, aren't they?
Ms. Bell?
Micah, did you check on that street light on my street? The street light?
Yes, yes, ma'am. I don't know, I was gonna set up one time trips in town, go down there and look, but I don't think there's no pole, another pole that we can actually put a light on. Just because there's a pole light, don't mean that they can mount a street light on.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. It depends on what kind of, like, what kind of pole it is. Oh. And if it's just a regular pole with just a regular line runs across it, they can put a street light on it, but some poles, they can't put a street light on.
Okay. Tamika,
Yes, ma'am.
did you order the iPad cases for some of us? We didn't get them. And I think Melvin and I think Anthony
Three.
and Al. I know you said one time you couldn't guess them, but Al, tell her where you got yours from. She could
Well, I just ordered mine online and paid for it.
Amazon, I think that's where you got yours from.
Councilman Green?
The cameras, any word on them yet, Stellis, or?
I had, just gone back and got the final approval from the cop's office. And so now we got to get the award to come in. And then we gotta figure out how we're going to go through to do the purchasing. I did notice that in the award, it refers back to a code of federal regulations and it refers back to another federal regulation in there about how to utilize federal funds. And so that has to be part of the bid specs, which I don't know how to put in, so I gotta find somebody or what I'm looking at right now is trying to utilize state purchasing. And I got a guy that is on state purchasing contract, supposed to be calling me on Thursday. So we can utilize state purchasing that. Makes it better, and I don't feel like I'll do something that I have to go federal prison for.
Oh, no, we don't want that. We did, I think it was Monday morning, we had another shooting down East Claiborne here. Nobody could find anything about, so.
Well, we're working on trying to go through to, make that happen. Pete Armstrong is the other person that signs off on that, and he's out with the mother, so she'll probably be back next week. No, we're plugging ahead.
Thank you.
All right.
We're gonna need your camera on your hands over there, so it's gonna feel
Had a 2-week resignation issued this afternoon, a verbal, I didn't get it in writing yet, so I guess we need to start advertising.
All right.
Mike?
Yes, I got a couple things. The first one, it's time, we got to reapply for that Rebuild Alabama grant for $250,000. And if there's a street in y'all's district that y'all want to do, let me know, we'll put it on, I need to know this week. But Like I say, it's $250,000, so out of 6 districts, you know, you could probably do a short street. You know, everything, but if y'all got a certain street that y'all want to put on that grant. Y'all just let me know.
We talked about East Kennedy, I think, last
Yeah.
time, yeah.
Kennedy Circle.
Mhm.
Yeah, I know.
What's on Robert Knight and down,
Robert, yeah, right down there.
Yeah.
That one, and then you want to do the, Norwood, see if we can get it.
Much of it is.
Yeah, I think we can at least do the lower part, the worst part of it down there.
Look at
Legion Drive also,
Legion Drive,
the worst part of it.
yes, okay,
If I would get pretty bad that crew, you know,
yeah,
bunch of potholes.
I like you look at Lauderdale also.
Lauderdale,
And Pine Heights too, I think it's about 3 or 4. I could
yeah,
do.
now we're gonna get one of them this go around,
In Pine View,
yes, ma'am.
okay.
And-
county putting a little asphalt down on some of these little cow trails.
Oh, yeah, they actually borrowing money and they're gonna pay it back with their share. But, that's really it. And the next thing, we're gonna need some totes or some kind of storage bins for the Christmas tree and the decorations and stuff. The boxes that had all come in just totally gone, so, but now we were able to save some money on the rock project over at the lake. You know, we budgeted 50,000, we only spent 40. And I was wondering if I could use a little bit of that money to get some containers.
Only $40,000.
Yeah.
It should have been no $1,000. The engineers.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, Ms. Bruce?
Yeah, the Monroeville Mardi Gras parade is gonna be February the 4th, with the rain date being February the 11th, which is Saturday. And I sent you the press release. They've already got it, I think. Yeah. They were encouraging everybody to be there. The theme is hometown throwdown. And we're excited about that. It'll be an easy one for everybody because it's all country themed. The actual, the empty car parade, the Wisconsin Butter Parade will start at 4, and the other parade will be at 6:30. I have a poster on it.
Ms. Hunt, do you have anything? Okay. Councilman Paul, you asked about the animal ban,
Yes.
and if I'm not mistaken, out of the ABC fund, we appropriated, it was $8,000 for the purchase of the kennels. And the city had originally, I think, Councilman Hines, you asked for 45 during that period of time, we weren't sure, so we cut it back to 40. So, there was a request for additional $5,000. So if, and I don't know how much more that they were looking for or asking for, I don't know if it was the same 5 or if it was less, do you have any idea?
I'm thinking they were looking for the same 5, and they
Same
were
5.
expecting the 45 and got 40. And the fence and kennels is above and beyond that. That was gonna be our
Right,
additional thing to
okay.
keep from getting into a commitment every year.
Okay.
Every year that we would, that would be our above and beyond this year.
Right. Well, if we do the 5, the only place I know we can come from would be from that, what contingency fund we set aside.
But we still can do the 8.
Yeah, we've already done the 8.
Okay, that's, okay.
Right, we've already done the 8.
Okay.
Okay. And so this would be additional 5. Okay.
So that would bring them back to what they got.
What,
Because we're gonna bring it back, what would they ask for?
What we did for the last year.
No, we
Oh,
did
40
40.
last year.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'd be good for it.
Okay.
They had fits during the cold weather, they got lost.
Are y'all trying to approve the new council? Or
Yeah,
extra 5?
yeah,
That's a budget amendment. It requires a resolution.
okay. All right, well, you can have it next council meeting. Okay, the other thing on here that I've got a sign that is gonna take resolution on part of the city is the ALDOT agreement. To utilize Civil Southeast, engineering for the next sidewalk project. And yeah. It wasn't on here. I think this is just more of an administrative deal. Yeah, sidewalk improvements along various streets. And that was for Beck Street, Bush Avenue, Lula Street, Crook Street, Glenwood Street, Carroll Street, and Marengo Street. And so it's
Okay.
supplemental agreement that we have to do. This is the portion that we have to pay Civil Southeast. Okay.
Is there any update on the roundabout?
It's scheduled to start this year, 2023. Okay. All right. That's pretty much everything that I've got. Oh, Tim? Okay. Okay. Got 10 minutes to.
I think the cost is what.
Y'all, event coordinator.
Why can't we be coordinating that?
I don't know. You just want me to work?
Hey, we definitely put it work. She can get to work.
Well, I know me a form. Yeah, you won't share yours with her?
Yeah, okay.
She didn't give me enough. I don't know why.
You make me all right, that's about.
Imagine.
Oh. Hey, one thing, Mr. Mayor. The rental on the community house this weekend about the deposit. The people that rented it, they wasn't supposed to charge admission, but they did. And also there was talk that there were guns. Miss Jamie said there were guns coming in the building. And also the bathroom door where it was already cracked. Well, there's a hole all the way through it now. So I guess we need to decide, if we're gonna give them their deposit back or what we're gonna do. We're charging admission to get in the door. I looked at the video cameras and some of them were paying with their phone. I guess the app on their phone, some of them hand them cash to, enter the door, and it's supposed to be a birthday party. And the security, from what I understand, they hadn't paid our police officer that was there working. And where they talked, they're not gonna pay him. Now, that's the understanding I got. I have not talked to the lady, but my understanding too, she was real rude to Miss Janie. And now I wasn't able to get get the stuff off of the camera. But now I got one picture. I don't know now, if y'all want to look at it. That we was able to screenshot. Oh, you want to tell me what they look like right there?
You were sure. Why they're charging money there, they bring the security.
That's not a deal. That's a.
You ready?
I know what it is.
Oh, okay. But now Miss Janie said that some of them had guns on their side. There's a couple of guys coming out with guns on their side.
Did you take a picture of it?
Yeah.
Well, I never did see it on the camera because where the camera was facing when they was coming in the door.
Let's be the top of it.
It is.
Yeah.
Don't we have to have a posting, a sign by the door?
There is a sign by the door, no fire on the loud. But Miss Janie said that one guy she knows she talked that he did have a firearm on his side. But I never could tell in the pictures when they were coming through the door, on the video.
What did security say?
I hadn't talked with him yet.
It looks like,
I saw him earlier,
Could be
he
a
told me
speaker
that
stand
she
there.
raised with him about the security and everything that she didn't pay it, and he just told us that we don't even worry about
Yeah.
it. Because he said that, there's supposed to be people that are sneaking in the side and all this kind of stuff. She wanted him down there doing that, and that's not what he was. Yes. All right. So, I don't know, anyway, I asked her, if she wanted to come before the council, I told her that that's not to advise her to fill out privileges of the floor. She could address it at next council meeting.
Something that I would like to address too later on is actually adding some more cameras. We have some blind spots, especially down that hallway going back there to the restrooms and all. That's a bad blind spot, and the kitchen's a blind spot. I know that's two spots that we need to address with cameras.
All right.
You won't keep an eye on me, right?
Huh?
You won't keep an eye on me.
Yeah. That's what I said at home, do what you cook, you know. You want to come up there now.
If I go back home, if I go back home, I got somebody.
That's a binding contract. It's the ones with the free people, you're not getting that.
She charged an addition.
See all this back in you all. There's not as
Yeah, you could, when you look there, don't do much good.
Yeah. Up at Smith's, like, 14 of the state, like, had the damage.
Good afternoon, time being 5 p.m. I'd like to call the city council meeting of the regular meeting of the city of Monroeville City Council to order. We can begin with prayer.
May we pray? Our Father, if once again, O Heavenly Father, we come with our head and our heart. And now, O Heavenly Father, that you are God, and besides you, there's none other. That you are Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, O you are, O Heavenly Father. O Heavenly Father, we come thanking you for all the many blessings, O Heavenly Father. Asking that you continue to lead us and to guide us, O Heavenly Father. We ask that you lead, ask that you bless our leadership, O Heavenly Father. And this great country that we live in, O Heavenly Father. Bless our leadership here in Monroeville, O Heavenly Father. Bless those who put their lives out and to protect us, O Heavenly Father. Keep them in your care, O Heavenly Father, but realize there's no better care than yours, O Heavenly Father. And we'll be ever so careful. Give you the glory and the praise. This we ask, O Heavenly Father, in the mighty name, of the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge of allegiance, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes for the work session is held on December 20th, 2022 at 3:45 p.m. And also the regular meeting is held on December 20th, 2022 at 5 p.m. Do I have a motion for the approval of the minutes?
So move.
Do I have a second?
I second.
Any discussion? There being none, all in favor? Okay. The next item on the agenda is the approval of Pearls and Diamonds date move for the community house to February 18th. With the existing fees paid, is that correct? Do I have a motion?
Existing, you mean the one that they just paid or the one, are y'all gonna approve them for the last one? Cause technically it was lost. The 250 was off, and then she just paid it.
So
She moved the date from.
she moved it
21 to
one
22.
time. Okay,
And then she didn't give us a date to move to it, and we opened up the date. Well, the date passed, and so the money was gone because nobody worked it. So
okay,
what she's asking for is for her not to have to pay, because she said that they shouldn't have to pay per their calendar on the, online.
okay. So the motion is to approve the moving of the date for Diamonds and Pearls at Community House to February 18th without an additional 250 deposit. Is that correct? Okay. So there is a motion. Do I have a motion?
All right, so she was going by the calendar date on the computer.
Yes, but the date was already open, and it's documented on there that it was opened up, and so people, when we open up the dates, we still leave it like, well, it was left like that on there because we didn't have gained access to that calendar until I got her access to it.
So it was a
She started updating.
it was a misunderstanding. Right?
Yes, and then I told her because I talked to her and she said still. They shouldn't have to pay an amount, but the date was opened up. And so people usually just call up here or come up here and ask if the date available. And we let them know, and if the date rents out, then we get that money back.
So she was under misconception that the date was still there because she could see it online, right?
Yes.
But the person that was supposed to change it hadn't changed it yet because they hadn't gained access.
Yes,
But it's not in the policy for the person to call up here to check, is it? Or do they have to just, if they just go back and look? Because if they just did it the first time, or it's their first time doing it, they don't know to call up here and they're looking at the computer. I don't think it's their fault. So I'll make that motion for her to get a second chance.
Okay,
I second.
okay. It's been properly moved and second. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor?
Comment, Mayor.
Yes.
It's my opinion, this council spends way too much time trying to manage the affairs of that community house. And I think we ought to consider looking to hire someone to manage it for us or to just sell it and let somebody else take it over.
Lose money. Good idea, but ain't well. We do.
You know, it shouldn't be.
That tedious.
The things that are being decided could be decided by someone that had a set of instructions to manage it.
All right, Michael, we'll give you $5 a week raise to take care of that.
Well, transition has been a little bumpy.
Just an opinion.
Yes. So noted.
I think it'd be a whole lot better now since they got access to the website now.
Yeah.
So I think it'll work.
Okay, next item on the agenda is the approval of the Alabama Power additional light. Do I have a motion to approve for the relocation of the light and modify the contract reflecting such? Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll say.
All right, any discussion? All right, Chip, just for understanding's sake, we're gonna move one of the lights off Agricultural Drive, right? To the other location that was discussed out there on the Hornady, on the bypass, which requires a contract addendum.
Will require an addendum to the current contract.
Right.
But I will follow up with you and Michael and Ms. Hunt to make sure that there is not an additional fee charged for that light, and if there is, outside of what I'm viewing, we'll come back to the council before anything is done. Okay.
So see now, what I think what he's getting at is the light on the bypass, if it's actually covering, George H. Freer, it can be a regular street light, but if it's out towards the, bypass, it's gotta be one approved by the state, and it's a higher wattage.
Exactly right. But I can't tell you which one is gonna be required until our lighting group does a photometric study on it to know what's gonna be required.
Okay, so I think what the motion is addressing is allowing you to move the light and then bring us back the contract for approval.
And you say you're gonna come back before we throw the price difference to let us know that.
I will, yes.
Okay.
There's a price difference. I promise you, I will be back.
Okay, so
I will be back, anyway, but I mean, if there's anything that will increase city's current payment right now, we will review that before anything is done.
so we need to amend the motion to reflect that any changes in the contract must be approved by council.
Yes, I think that's what you're doing now. Now, if there's additional financial charge, we'll come back to the
I
council.
mean, we ain't talking about $150,000 here, a dollar or two, one way or the other.
It's not near $150,000. It's, right, it's a couple of dollars, so.
No, I'm talking about what the whole contract is.
Oh, the whole contract, yes, sir, it was substantial.
Yeah.
And then the light on, I will also have to have, as Councilman Fogle wants the light on Agricultural Drive taken down. So when we take that light down or remove that light, city's got somewhere else that they want us to move that particular light to, we'll try to find somewhere to put that light.
Okay, so right now, the motion as it stands allows you to relocate the lights based upon your study. To include a modification of the existing contract to reflect such changes.
Correct. And I also need the council to make a motion giving you the approval to sign that contract for an additional light on 21. Because I can't move the light out there until I get signature approval by the council and do stuff. And if you had rather me go back to this Silvernagle, my lighting specialist, let me and her and you all three can reconvene and discuss this, we can do that. Figure out what the next step forward needs to be. But I know I cannot add an additional light until that contract is signed, amending that light being moved.
In other words, until you tell us what it's gonna cost us to put it on a bypass, this is the new point, really.
Well, the mayor has the contract of what it would cost. This is additional $9 and some change a month to put that light on the bypass.
Yeah.
But then you ask for two to be removed, one at Hornady, one at Agriculture. If that light at the bypass is determined to be a different wattage than one of the lights at Agriculture or the light at Hornady, there could be a price variation there.
But until we know that, do we need to go any further?
I'm thinking that we probably need to wait and get all this nailed down and do it at one time.
I would think that'd be the best thing, for you to tell us what it's going, all the options that are available.
Okay,
And Mayor, a while back, if we have an extra light, I had requested one on York Street. So we could certainly still use that over there where it started.
Was that approved? Did we just do the?
No,
No.
Oh, okay,
no, it was
okay.
never passed from here. So.
Gotcha.
all right, so, I don't think we ever got a second, so the motion would die for lack of a second. And we did second.
Yeah, you
Okay.
reluctantly did.
All right, then we gotta take a vote. All not in favor? What I'm trying to do is get it to where we don't go any further, so that if we're not in favor, then that kills the motion. That's why I said all not in favor. Okay, all right, so that kills that motion. Okay, next item on the agenda is the approval of the appointment of city council member Melvin Foco to be a member to the plan commission for a one-year term.
Yes, as far as our committee this time.
All right. Do I have
So
a
moved.
motion? Do I have a second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
All opposed.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is item D, ordinance 2023-12-001, amendment to zoning ordinance of medical cannabis dispensary. It has already had its first reading. Do I have a motion to adopt ordinance 2023-12-001? Do I have a second? Second. Okay.
Discussion.
Yes, discussion.
Well, personally, I'm still opposed to this just for the idea that it could lead to further legalization of illegal drugs down the road. But I have had a couple of members of District 1, residents of District 1 come and express, one of them being a medical doctor, express support for this. So to honor the request of my constituents, I'll be voting yes.
Any further discussion?
I'd like somebody to clarify this one paragraph on there, one sentence on it. Whereas the location of a dispensary within corporate city limits of Monroeville, Alabama, bring the potential of hundreds of new employment opportunities for the citizens of the city of Monroeville, Alabama. Would somebody please explain that to me?
They will bring employment, they will bring employment. I'm not sure of how many he was talking about bringing.
I mean, how can it be more than half a dozen?
I'm not sure what you're reading, but if.
This is the ordinance we're voting on.
Okay.
It's also the original one that we would have voted for last time, said the city of Owens Crossroad was in it, but you did change that since the time of last meeting. We would have voted on that part of that ordinance also. But I don't see where any way bring potential of hundreds, not 100 even, hundreds of new employment opportunities for the city of Monroeville. Is this added police protection or what we adding to the hundreds?
Well, they had a study done in Mobile, and they said their study came up with the idea that for every dollar of revenue that it would generate, that it would cost them $4. You know, and it's gonna be a nightmare for police officers. It's gonna be a nightmare for employers, because if they have that card, you can't ask them anything about it. So what if they have an accident and you have them drug tested? They've had an accident and it comes up positive. What are you gonna do? You know, and the thing about it is not the idea that you're never gonna be able to get. If you have a prescription, there are gonna be other dispensaries. What it amounts to is we're not gonna have one on our doorstep.
And you lose revenue it could generate.
Well, it's not gonna be.
And the other question is, in my experience, whether or not that person is going to drive under the influence, it won't matter to him whether it's legal or illegal. He will still partake. And at least in these circumstances, the individuals who this is prescribed for is in some of the worst medical scenarios that you can get into.
Yeah.
And so it's probably very likely that they won't be driving anyway. But you know, that's a lot of supposition.
Well, and
So, you know, and I go back and I understand what the city of Mobile says about for every $1 you spend for the, enabling someone to purchase, medical cannabis, how much money are we spending for all of the ones who are using illegal cannabis and smoking it and corrupting our communities? At least this is controlled. This, what out there on the street now is not controlled. And does not generate, the only person that generates the revenue for it is the person sitting out there on the corner that's pushing it illegally. So this is very tightly controlled. And I can go back and you can pull all kinds of studies you want to. Illegal drugs cost our society more than what an individual in need of medical cannabis. That's my opinion.
There. Now, what do you think our chances of having a dispensary put here? By my understanding, there's gonna be four for licensed people to run dispensary in the state. Is that correct?
There are those four, but they have
Five.
They have 5 locations.
They have 5 locations. Those
And
four.
they cannot be all in a populated metropolitan area. The state is trying to push for dispensaries to be in rural areas as well as.
Okay, because
So not everybody has it.
You got four folks who like to do dispensary, and there's 5. They do 5 different locations. You got Birmingham, Montgomery.
Wait, hold on. We have 3 outstanding inquiries right now who have offers in holding on real estate. We have 3 outstanding offers
And then
that have already put a bid in on real estate.
well, and see, the thing on putting it in the rural areas like this is they're betting on less regulation. The people, the regulators
The
are
state
gonna,
regulates all of
let
it.
me finish. The regulators are gonna be controlled, they're gonna be more concerned with the metropolitan areas than they are out here, in these areas. And that's what they're betting on. That's the reason they gonna push the rural areas, like they're doing. I mean, and the thing about it, with the opioid crisis that we have right now, when it started, it was probably a good thing. It was gonna be highly regulated. Well, then you had medical professionals that they just had folks lined up writing prescriptions. It's the same thing that's gonna happen with this. You're gonna have folks lined up because there's so much money to be made until you're gonna have medical professionals, they're gonna just line up, we're right.
You know, I'm listening to what you're saying, and you think about in these rural areas where some of these people are sick and they don't have means to get out and get some of these things. And if I'm not mistaken, this is not a smokeless form of marijuana, right?
Yes, sir.
Right?
It's smokers, yeah, it's either gummy bears or paste.
Okay, you think about a gummy bear, or you think about a suppository, or you think about somebody that has cancer, they can't swallow, that has to take drops. How can you not want that? I mean, you just sit back and think about it.
Yeah.
Since the days of prohibition, people have always over embellished just about anything they can get their hands on. But this is something that's going to help people in our community, in our areas. And just like you just said, the doctor spoke up and said, hey, it can help. Like, I don't get it. It's not somebody walking around, smoking whatever, but it's medicine. Like, you go to the doctor every day to get medicine. You don't sit there and go through the FDA and say, hey, it does this, it does that. If you have an ailment, you're going to take it because you want to feel better.
And I'm not gonna speak for the police department, but I can tell you this, what's being pushed out there on the streets, there is no regulation on it, it's laced with all kind of things. And that is the point that they're looking for it. They are the ones who are going out there making this laced marijuana, even some of it with fentanyl, available to our kids out here that pushing on the street. This is not. This is totally controlled. It is a pharmaceutical. I understand what you said about opioids, but you know, that was, I think we have a whole lot more physicians committed to that Hippocratic oath than the ones who are seeking to line their pockets.
May I say something?
Yes, ma'am.
My concern is, I understand that everybody is saying that it's gonna help someone that's sick, it's gonna do this, it's gonna do that, it's gonna be regulated. Okay, it's gonna be regulated by the state, but when it's at home and grandson gets a hold to it, and he decides that, hey, I can sell this and make money from this. Our granddaughter, our niece and nephew can, a 6-year-old can pick this up and
Yes, ma'am.
something.
I understand exactly what you're saying, but the same thing is happening with Xanax now. The same thing is happening with other opioids that are out there now.
That's true.
So I appreciate your comments. Are we ready to proceed with the vote?
Sir.
Okay. Ms. Hunt, prepare to call the roll, please.
Alright. You want me to,
Yes.
Councilman Burton,
Yes.
Councilman McDaniel,
Yes.
Councilman Ruffin,
Yes.
Councilman Thomas,
Yes.
Councilman Hines,
No.
Councilman Fogle.
No.
It passed.
Next item on the agenda is ordinance 2023-12-002, which allows for a medical cannabis dispensary within the corporate limits of the city of Monroeville. And this relates to the zoning ordinances. Is that correct, Tim?
No, this relates to the resolution that was passed prior.
Oh, okay. The resolution that was passed prior. Okay, all right. Okay. Do I have a motion to adopt resolution 2023-12-002? Make a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? There being none, Ms. Hunt, prepare to call the roll.
Councilman Burton,
Yes.
Councilman McDaniel,
Yes.
Councilman Ruffin,
Yes.
Councilman Thomas.
Yes.
Councilman Hines,
No.
Councilman Fogle.
No. Okay. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the new hire, Mr. Michael Norton Jr. as a custodian at 10.26 an hour. And this is, part of his duties is with the community house, correct, Mr. Lester? Yes, okay. Do I have a motion to approve the hiring of Mr. Michael Norton?
That's so moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? There being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is the approval of the agreement between the city and Mr. Bobby Jones for a debris disposal site for erosion control. Do I have a motion to approve the agreement with Mr. Bobby Jones?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? There being none, all in favor? Okay. Okay. The items to be presented by me is that there is a request for a public hearing for
The
the
first meeting in February.
first council meeting in February to discuss what was that, Mill Street?
Yeah, it's me.
Mill Street, to discuss making Mill Street a two-way again at the request of Ms. Pinkley.
That was in February 6th.
February 7th, okay. Do I have a motion approving for the public hearing on February 7th from Mill Street? 7,
February 7th.
7, okay. Do I have a motion?
That's a move.
Do I have a second?
I'll say.
Any discussion? All in favor? Okay. Next item I have on the agenda is the LDOT engineering agreement between the city and Civil Southeast, and would be for the upcoming sidewalk project. Good name off all the sidewalks. And that's for Beck Street, Bush Avenue, Lula Street, Crook Street, Glenwood Street, Carroll Street, and Marengo Street. Do I have a motion to approve the engineering agreement with Civil Southeast?
That's a move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next item I have has to do with the animal shelter. And I had a request to provide a supplemental appropriation to the animal shelter in the amount of,
It has to be done by resolution.
okay.
I remember we said it was going to be the next.
Oh, okay.
That's
Mhm.
5,000. Resolution next meeting. Okay, and I need approval to purchase totes
Yeah, containers for the Christmas decoration.
for the Christmas decoration to be paid for from
Capital improvement.
capital improvement funds. Okay. So do I have a motion to approve the purchase of the totes for Christmas decorations from capital improvement?
Do you have any estimate on what this can go?
Not right, not an exact estimate, but I don't think it's gonna be over $1,000.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
That's a move.
Do I have a second? Any discussion? There being none, all in favor?
One abstain.
One abstain, okay. We have the announcement about the Mardi Gras parade for February 4th, rain date 11. Okay, all right. Okay, that's everything I have. Councilman Blunt.
Just wanted to say our mural trail has been featured in the Southern Pine magazine, Alabama Living, so it's a good Monroeville article in there. I'll leave it there if anybody wants to see it.
Councilman McDaniel.
Joanne, how much do we have to pay in order to be in the parade?
Do you have one of
Is
those?
it not on that paper?
It's not on here.
I think it's supposed to be two,
How much?
you know, the sheep, but the rain. So they only get.
Paper says $20.
$20. Is it 20?
I'm not sure.
That's what was given to us, $20.
It's double for council members.
Oh, okay.
If you walk, it's free,
Oh, okay.
really, if you walk. it's free.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
gonna walk.
All right.
Oh, the six meetings, have they been reposited?
Yes. I went ahead since, we had so many other things that we're going through with Trustmark. I redeposited them in Trustmark. Council allowed me to do that. And we're the 6 weeks out before the next one comes due for publishing. That's one vote. Okay. Mike? No. Chief, right?
Just approval of advertised position.
Okay. Do I have a motion to advertise for a firefighter position? Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right. Mike, I already got you, Cap? Okay, Ms. Brewer?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Moore?
No, sir.
Okay, Ms. Hunt? Ms. Smith? Okay. Being no further business for the city council, the city of Monroeville, regular meeting, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion, we adjourn this January 3rd meeting, go to city council.
Okay, second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
All in favor?
I'll bring a copy tomorrow, so we make.